Hello everybody, my name is Dean Sarnelio. Doing my dissertation on statehood, and I didn't really want to do like a presentation. I'd rather just make it like a talk story where we all just kind of share our own ideas on what's the issue with statehood, right? And I think it's kind of relevant to what happened today. You know, today wasn't just about tents. It wasn't just about a microphone, right? Or maybe it is about a microphone, but it's about a voice, right? And it's about a certain history of Hawaii that oftentimes doesn't get told because it speaks against the industries of Hawaii, whether it's tourism or military or real estate. All of those industries rely on a specific kind of understanding of Hawaii, right? That at the point of contact with Captain Cook, things got better in Hawaii, right? But there's another history in Hawaii that doesn't get told, and that's sort of what I'm interested in. So one of the things that I think depends on how you understand history is where you start your history, where you start talking about statehood, yeah? Do you start talking about statehood in 1900 with the passing of the Organic Act, or 1894 with the establishment of the quote-unquote Republic of Hawaii? Or do you start it at 1893? You started at January 17, 1893. And I think that's the point where we need to start looking at statehood. And that's going to tell us a lot about what happened during the territory, what happened during the territorial period of Hawaii that led to statehood. So one thing that I think I oftentimes hear, you know, when Hawaiians are talking about issues of self-determination, issues of occupation, is that what are you complaining about for statehood? Because there wasn't any resistance of Hawaiians to statehood. And that's a lie. That's bogus, right? 1946, January 17th at Iolani Palace. On January 17th, the date of the overthrow, right? Alice Kamukila Campbell gave testimony. And she gave testimony in front of 600 people, most of them Hawaiian. And initially what they wanted to do was they wanted to put her in an afternoon with other witnesses so that she didn't have as much time, because she wanted an entire day, and she wanted to do it on January 17th, right? So she said, oh, my graph's not ready. I can't present until the 17th. 17th is when it'll be ready. I can present then. So she gave her testimony, and I just want to read a passage of her testimony, right? On January 17th. Quote, I do not feel that we should forfeit the traditional rights and privileges of the natives of our islands for a mere thimbleful of votes in Congress, that we, the lovers of Hawaii from long association with it, should sacrifice our birthright for the greed of alien desires to remain on our shores, that we should satisfy the thirst for power and control of some inflated industrialists and politicians who hide under the guise of friends of Hawaii, yet still keeping an eagle eye on the financial and political pressure button of subjugation of the people in general of these islands. Right? So she gave this testimony, and she's talking against two things. One, the Big Five, and two, the majority of Japanese in Hawaii, and how the two of those things are going to work together to further displace Hawaiians from voice, and from getting their histories out. So and then, you know, 1946 she did this. 1947 she created the Anti-Statehood Clearinghouse. So she created a place where people who wanted to provide opposition to statehood, she could collect all of that information and she could get that out to the Senate, to Congress. So the reason why more people weren't publicly speaking out against statehood was not unlike today, where many people, you know, throughout today, people were saying, you know, don't videotape me, don't take my picture, you know, don't use my name in this. It's because you don't want your employer to know that you're doing this kind of stuff that could be construed as something that makes you look bad, that makes you look like whatever, right? Like you might be crazy. You're not in with the norm. You're abnormal or that kind of stuff, right? During the 40s and 50s, the territorial period, the Big Five were in complete control over Hawaii. So many people owed their jobs to the Big Five, and they couldn't come out publicly opposing the aims of the Big Five, right? They're the ones who created the Hawaii Equal Rights Commission in 35. They're the ones who created the Hawaii Statehood Commission in 47. They're the ones who created the Constitutional Convention in 1950. The Big Five were supportive of statehood. The narrative that the Democrats, that other groups were opposed to statehood and opposed to the Big Five, that's true, but they weren't successful in their movement. The Democratic Revolution in '54 was a game of demographics. The Japanese became a numerical majority, and they were able to get their voice heard through politics, right? I talked a little bit about the lawsuit that Kamakila did. She did it against the Hawaii State Commission. The Hawaii State Commission was a state agency created to support statehood, and also created to contain and censor those voices who were in opposition to statehood. So if you look at the minutes of the State Commission, you have different instances where Hawaiians who are driving taxi cabs or doing tour guides, they were telling tourists that they don't want statehood. That's not their issue. They don't want statehood. So the State Commission actually logged this down and started to figure out, well, what are we going to do? How are we going to counter those voices? The other thing is the people of Papakolea Homestead, when the congressional delegates would go, people from Congress, from the House and the Senate, the U.S. Congress, come to Hawaii and they do investigations. The people of Papakolea told them, we don't want statehood. None of us want statehood. So he said, well, can you write that up for me and send it to me? They got visited by somebody from the Hawaii State Commission and said, if you keep voicing yourself publicly, you're going to have repercussions, right? So this is I had to go to Nebraska to find this out, but when I seen that, I was, to me, it kind of makes sense. Because that's the thing about colonization, right? Colonization or occupation isn't just about dominating another people. You dominate those people by not letting them tell their history, not letting them speak their experiences, not letting them express themselves as a people. Colonization tries to interrupt that and block that and speak on behalf of those people.